Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Monday, February 6th, 2023, and you're listening to episode 156 of the Can I Say Something podcast. I'm your host and a recluse with a juicy caboose, Damian. Joining me today is...
the dude with the crude attitude, Derick.
On this episode, we will be discussing part 2 of our 2023 most anticipated projects of the year, including the prestigious, the dramatic, the award contenders, and Barbie. But before that, we will be discussing what we've been watching, including M. Night Shyamalan's newest thriller, Knock at the Cabin, Damien Chazelle's 3-hour epic Babylon, and the Best Picture nominated Women Talking. Right into the show at Can I Say Something podcast at gmail.com, Bicycle on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, rate and review it on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend, family member, or stranger. What's up, Derick? How are we doing?
Doing well. We were saying off air that I am going straight into recording this podcast right off of the back of my other podcast. I just finished recording an episode over there, so I've been podcasting all nights, and I love it.
Nice. Yeah, I always wonder if because I'll do a little warm up. I don't talk to anybody. I live alone. I don't. My job is very automated, so I'm always on at work. I have my headphones on, and I'm just zoning out all night. Once in a while, I got to talk to somebody about something, but normally my days are pretty isolated. So I'm not really using my voice too much. So I'll do a quick overview of the outline, do a little what is it, baby bottle bottoms and red leather, yellow leather.
Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Yes, the kids, get the kids. Yeah, come on, the kids. They're coming in the door.
Oh man, you're taking me back to my theater fucking days when we had all these ridiculous vocal warm-ups,
Yeah, exactly. The vocal.
He thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. He thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah, but anyways, let's get going because we got a full outline here. Just many things on the outline. A lot of things. One big announcement made by James Gunn, the head of DC Studios, and his partner, Peter Safran. They were anointed the kings of DC Studios, so they were tasked with, putting this ship back on course. The things that are coming out this year are still going to come out this year, but apparently none of that's going to be part of their slate going forward. I'm not sure if he said, they haven't made any concrete announcements. They haven't made any concrete casts, no scripts, nothing like that. As of yet, but they did announce some of their slate coming up. Mark your calendars for July 11th, 2025, as they say in this article from Hollywood Reporter. So a bunch of the things that they have talked about, the name, they made some names, they made some announcements for things that will be coming out. One of them was called Creature Commandos, which is a 7-episode animated series written by James Gunn that's already in production, so that's interesting. It's an animated series. We got a movie called Superman Legacy. We got a Waller solo project. What was your take on this? Are you excited about this or not really?
I don't know. It's DC. I really don't care that much about DC compared to other stuff. I'm glad that they're getting people an actual direction for all this. And I did watch that video that James Gunn did where he was breaking it down. I was like, okay, cool. This could possibly be pretty good. It seems like that. He talked about how the Flash is going to reset things. But how are we getting a Amanda Waller movie before there's even a Nightwing at all live action? Literally, the only time we've ever seen Dick Grayson in live action, he was doing fucking laundry karate. So Dick Grayson's my favorite. All the DC stuff, I really like. The Batman stuff is the only thing that I'm really into, and especially Dick Grayson as a character is my favorite DC character by a mile. And we might get him in Brave and the Bold. Also, I think that people like my mom are going to be very confused with how now that there's going to be 3 separate live action Bruce Waynes running around.
Yes.
All right, they're it's which one is this one? Oh, this and like I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
DC does not have a good track record, but James Gunn working with DC does, so that's promising.
Yeah, when you think about James Gunn and his work in the, movies with the superhero movies, it's always that. It's always like, he's making a what? He's making a Guardians of the Galaxy. He's making a what? He's making another Suicide Squad. We just had another one. Are they the same people? Is this the same universe? Blah, 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 blah. And it always works. It always works. So I have faith in Mr. Gunn. Yeah. So there's that. Next, we also had a wild week with Netflix saying they were to crack down on password sharing. And then update, quick update. Netflix says they are going to do it or not going to do it. There's this thing.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, there's this thing that happens recently where, a tech company or just any major company gets an announcement that's, bad for consumers or bad for just in general, then they always walk it back, right? There's always those weird announcements.
The D&D thing that just happened.
Yeah, exactly. And seems to be a trend of just like, do these companies just not like, do they not, they need a in-house, like, what are those guys called that play the video games and look for bugs in the games? They need a
tester.
They need a tester like in there to be like, hey, that sounds like a shitty idea. Let's squash this in the room. Yeah,
it's like it's with the D&D thing, and I think it applies to this too. I saw like a TikTok, and it was just the post credit scene from Thor Ragnarok, where it's just D&D logo, like the Wizards logo was just on Jeff Goldblum's face. It's like, yes, very good revolution, and you like we couldn't have done it without me, so you can't have a revolution without someone to overthrow. So patting it back to me too, and let's call it a tie. Like that's exactly how I feel the Netflix thing went to.
Yeah, exactly. I think I get the idea of like, you can't share it with everybody. Like you can't share it with multiple people. But like if you have a plan, right, where it's like the $20 plan or the $25 plan where it's like, 7 screens or whatever, let it be any 7 screens. You're getting the money. You're getting extra money. Yeah. They have the plans where it's just like, whatever it is, $7 or $8 for not HD streaming, only one account, only one screen. You have those people, right? But then you have the other people that have, multiple screens in there, and they pay the extra money for that. So now it's like you're asking for extra money, but then you're also saying it has to be in the same household. No, fuck you.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck that. And everyone was just going to leave Netflix. They think that they're immune, but they're not. Like people have been leaving them. So no. People are like, fuck it. We're gonna go to Peacock. We're gonna watch Poker Face now. We don't need to watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. And then this bleeds into a little bit of what we've been watching, but I watched the newest episode of The Walking Dead this week that premiered almost a week ago now, last Sunday. Have you checked out any of The Walking Dead? Sorry, not The Walking Dead. The Last of Us. Yeah, I watched The Last of Us. 3 episodes have premiered so far.
Did I take my headphones off for this point? Like,
oh, yeah, you haven't seen any of it?
I'm waiting to binge it, so
you're gonna binge it. Okay,
you can type in when I'm saved to come back.
No, I won't talk about it. But I was just wondering if like, so you're not really a zeitgeist guy. You're not really a FOMO guy because you don't feel like you're missing out on the conversations for the show. Nah, man, I've
been seeing Nick Overman on Twitter, and people are like, "Oh my god!" And I'm just like scroll. I don't. Nobody at my work. It's not like people at my work are gathering around the water cooler. Like we're living in binge culture now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, no, I won't talk about it specifically, but it's just interesting that I'm part of a Discord, and I feel like for most of this, most of the people in there are very much aligned with me on 99% of issues. The gay rights and progressive stuff, and anti-capitalist, those sort of line of thinking. But I jumped in there as soon as the episode aired, and a bunch of them were like, well, it was too nice, it was too saccharine. And that's what this article I have from Prime Timer called The Last of Us makes an egregious pivot under the guise of positive representation. And it was the basic idea of the article is that it was too saccharine, it was too nice, it was too just too perfect. It was too much of a perfect ending. It was just that sort of thing. And they were saying how it also takes away from the game how the games was how Bill and Frank's relationship was supposed to mirror Ellie and Joel's relationship, with Joel being this guy who very much set him, walled himself off from other people, didn't want to feel emotions. And Bill in this relationship was supposed to be Joel in the future, of what would happen if Joel continued down that route. So they were taking issue, this article and a lot of people in the Discord were taking issue with the fact that they making it a, they basically got a fantasy, relationship, a fantastical relationship where basically everything goes right and they have their sort of nice, walking off into the sunset sort of
I like how you say you're not going to spoil it for me. You just told me that they walked. Like 3 seconds later.
It's not.
Seconds to spoil something. I'm not saying you're not going to spoil it.
It's not. I didn't know, but they do. Walk
I would have
off.
just taken my headphones off. You could have just talked. It's fine.
So the way I framed it is it sounds nice and it sounds what do you call it? It sounds perfect. It doesn't end perfectly for them. I'll just say that.
All right. Well, yes. I'll check it out.
And also, you're not going to watch this for another 3 months. You might forget true. What I just said. Yes.
I'm as sharp as a tack, Damian.
As sharp as a tack, exactly. So there's that. That's about all the news I have wrapped up there.
Fair enough.
Yes. So let's get to some stuff we've been watching this week. I very much went down to the rabbit hole of being a weeb. I used to be a huge weeb. Used to watch all of the animes back in the day. I watched the Dragon Balls.
I've seen your Letterboxd. Every one of your posters is changed to like a kanji cut poster.
they just are. They're objectively the best poster. Japan. It's not my fault, Derek, that Japan makes the best posters. All right, they just do. It's just the fact. So I watched all of One Punch Man, which I thought I was under the impression there was like 3 seasons, but apparently there's only 2, 24 episodes in total. So I just flew through that because they're only they're 18 minutes each. They're supposed to be, they're like, the whole episode is 24 minutes, but with the giant intro, the giant anime intros and the giant anime outros, you only get actual 18 minutes of actual episode, So I've been through that. It's very good. It's very, very good. I highly recommend this show to really anybody that wants to jump in like new anime, because it's very meta. It's very self-aware. It's very much like, because the enemy will say to, Saitama, the main guy, Mr. One Punch Man, they'll say to him like, "Oh, you beat me, but let me tell you my backstory and how I got to where I got." And he's just like, "Shut the fuck up." Saitama's like, "Shut the fuck up. Give me your story in like 20 words or less, or I'm just gonna kill you anyway because I really don't care. I'm so bored." That's the whole gist. If people don't know that the idea of the show is that Saitama got really, really strong because he did like 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and he ran like 10 miles every day for like a year. So he got really, really strong doing that, I guess. But he can just kill anybody in like one hit, and nobody can really hurt him, no matter what they throw at him. So he's like this invincible character, except that he can't fly very well, or he can sort of fly, but like it's that sort of like Hulk flying.
He's like a peacock. He flies a little.
he can fly in the sense that like the Hulk can fly. He can jump really, really far, sort of like Superman used to do.
Superman used to fly back in like the olden days. He could leap in a single bound or whatever.
Yeah, so
leap buildings in a single bound. Anyone can leap in a bound. What am I talking about?
That's also like how they do this sort of self-aware trope of the hero never arrives on time. That sort of Goku thing. So they have that where the B and C level enemies have to face off against the bad guy, and they're just sort of have to survive until Saitama gets there. Really good show. I really enjoyed it very much. So check that out on. I've been watching these on Hulu recently. Hulu has a pretty good anime selection over there. So check out some Attack on Titan. That's the other big anime this year. Or actually, I think it debuted like 10 years ago at this point, and they're just now doing that like last season, last season, last season part 1, last season part 2 of the Walking Dead sort of thing. I've only checked out like the first half of the first season, and it's a very weird, jarring to go from the super meta, super self-aware One Punch Man to go then to Attack on Titan, which is very much traditional anime. The main protagonist is always crying. He's always, I don't want to do it. This thing's hard. You all suck. I'm going to kill all of the, I'm going to kill all of the Titans because they killed my family. Ugh! That sort of angry, condescending main character thing. But yeah, really good. Really, really fun show over there. Let's see. I also checked out M3gan.
What?
M3gan.
I don't know what either of those are.
M3gan. You don't know M3gan? The movie M3gan.
I don't know. Oh, you're talking about M3gan.
M3gan.
Yeah, M3gan. Okay. All right. I was like, what
Yes,
is Megan?
M3gan. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Directed by Gerard Johnstone. Let's see, the starting Allison Williams from Get Out fame.
My dreams. Oh,
Your dreams? Is she?
what?
Wow. Okay, you got some interesting fetishes there. Didn't know
What?
about that.
Tall, attractive lady is my fetish.
Tall, attractive ladies. Yeah. Well, last time you were like, you like the sad emo girls. You like the sad, angry.
I do like sad girls, especially when
Yes.
they're tall. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
All right. Great. So this was
Call
fine.
me.
Have you seen this? Did you watch this yet?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for this one to be streaming somewhere.
You stream it somewhere? Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
saw this
it'll
for like
come out
$7.
streaming on Peacock in a month or
Yeah.
something. I'll watch it then.
Yeah, I only saw this for $7, so I finally saw a matinee. Yeah, it was all right. You know, these movies that are coming out now that are like this one and the next one I'm going to talk about are
It's
PG.
it's January, you know.
Well, that too, but it's also like, man, American horror kind of sucks. Like it's PG-13 bullshit, and because it's PG-13, they can't show blood, they can't show gore. It's just it was so meh. It was so fine. It was so forgettable. The action was forgettable. The kills were forgettable. The tension building was forgettable. Allison Williams was fine. I think
Yes, she is.
Violet McCraw playing the girl, playing Caddy, she was actually pretty good. She's probably the standout of the movie. Jenna Davis plays, she's the voice of it, but I'm not sure who actually is, because the person that played Megan herself, Amy Donald, I guess she's like a dancer, so she actually did all of these moves in here, like the dancing you've probably seen memed on TikTok and on Twitter. She actually did all of that stuff, so that was pretty interesting. But yeah, just not enough. Not enough of anything. Not enough violence. Not enough funny. Not enough Megan being crazy. Would have enjoyed more of that. But good $7 Saturday matinee horror movie. That's all I can say about that. Then after that, it was a double feature for me that day. Saw Knock at the Cabin, Mr. Shyamalan's newest film. Let me pull this stuff up. Any interest in seeing Knock at the Cabin for you?
Yeah, I saw it last night.
You did see it. Okay, great. Can double team it.
I put that in the notes. Yeah, it's fine. It's like I went back and forth if I liked the ending or not. It does go on a little bit too long, I think, at the ending. It's just like, okay, like we know what happened. You don't need to keep turning the radio back on and off and on and off and on and off.
Yeah.
I really like Jonathan Groff. I'll just say a spoiler here. I really wanted Jonathan Groff to be the one to live because his husband sucked. His husband was a fucking asshole. I was just like, can he die? And there's like Jonathan Groff and his like interracial baby go off and live somewhere like else. Like that's would be fucking rad as shit. Right. But it's fine. There's some Dave Bautista is really good. There's some interesting stuff. The woman who plays Abby, I think was her, or no, Adrian. She was really good. Yeah. There's some good performances in it. It's very, very Shyamalan-y. But it feels like almost like it was not. It was like, oh, so it was real. Then why was he? What was the thing with him knowing him at the bar? Like that was just a coincidence, or I don't know. Like it's whatever. It's fine. It's a 3-star movie.
Yeah. It's just some. If you don't want to be spoiled for Knock at the Cabin, go forward like 2 minutes. But
or go back. Like I already spoiled it.
Go back for it. Yeah. I read the book, so maybe at the end of this I'll talk about the book a little bit. But the book had a much better ending. The book has a much better name. Cabin at the End of the World is the name of the book. Written by Jacob Tremblay. I think I mentioned that last week. But yeah, I was so bored by this. Really, really bored. I think I was bored by the camera work. I know he was trying to do like there's a lot of close-ups in this, and I was just bored by that. They said the ending was extended. I feel like the entire movie was extended too much.
And it's only like an hour 40 too. Like
it feels
an
long.
Hour 30.
It feels very long. I was bored by the camera work. Go ahead.
I just went in with super low expectations, so I think that's kind of why I had a fun time with it. Because I would not have seen this if my friend who was like, I have my AMC pass, so I can see as many free movies, or I can see three free movies a week. And so my friend wanted to go see it, so I was like, yeah, fucking, it's Friday, I've got my 3 movies that have just reset. Like, I might as well, let's go grab a drink and see this dumb movie. And I had a fun time with it.
Yeah, I mean, I had heightened expectations only because I like the book. Want to see how they would adapt it. I'm also, on Team Shyamalan right now just because I want to see what he does. The Visit was a few years ago now. I believe it was like 2015, 2016. And that for him and for a lot of people was like his return to form, right? But then he did Old, which was old, which is not great. So I was very much interested to see where he would go with this. And so can I talk about the book at all? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it. I'm not going to read it.
It's incredibly different. So during one of the tussles with the gun, Wen dies. She gets shot and dies. And because it was an accident, the apocalypse still kept going. They were like, why isn't this over? We sacrificed somebody. And they're like, it doesn't count. It was an accident. And they're like, fuck you. I think everyone dies on the invaders, the home invaders team, except for Adrian. Adrian survived, and she takes them to where they buried the key to the car. And so they go with her to find the key for the car. And then she kills herself because she doesn't want to be part of the apocalypse. And so Eric and Andrew both live, and they go and they try to drive down the street, but it's like in the movie where the planes are coming out of the planes are crashing into the ground. There's this giant, electrical storm is brewing. There's tornadoes. The entire world is basically ending. And they go into the woods and they're like, dude, do we want to die? Do we want to kill each other? And they're like, no. They basically decide that they don't want to. They basically said, if this is the world is ending because we won't kill ourselves and we won't kill our daughter, then fuck God, fuck all that. Fuck the prophecy, fuck the apocalypse, fuck that, fuck this world. If we have to die for the world to continue, then we'll just sit here and let the world die. So that was a much more interesting ending than this.
I mean, that worked for me when, spoiler alert for a movie from 11 years ago, but when it happened in Cabin in the Woods. So I don't know if you could do that in a movie again. It did work for me in that one because that movie is very irreverent and building on the tropes that of slasher movies and then just going really off the rails. Yeah. I don't know if I wouldn't have liked it in this movie, I don't think. But I also don't think I would have liked, the ending of this one was also just kind of whatever, and I don't think I would have liked an ambiguous. So I don't think that there was really a great option for an ending for me personally in this movie. I just think it probably would have been 2 or 3, between around 3 stars, however it ended. Yeah. Wouldn't have really made much of a difference to me, if I'm being honest. Yeah,
absolutely. Then I have written down, Take Shelter. I don't know if you've seen this movie from 2011 with, what's his name? Michael Shannon. And one of, I forget her name, but she's in a lot of things that she should be in. I forget her name. But anyways, it was a very good movie. Very good take on is the apocalypse actually happening? So I definitely would recommend watching Take Shelter if you want a really good, is the apocalypse actually happening movie. Then a big one that just came on VOD recently was Damian Chazelle's Babylon. I don't know if you've ever heard that song. Babylon. Have you seen this movie? Any interest in seeing this?
I have not. I mean, I have interest in seeing it because I'm a very big fan of Damian Chazelle. I have absolutely loved his first 3 films. I gave all 3 of them 5 stars on Letterboxd. So I think he might be my highest actually rated director on that site because First Man, I think is super underrated. La La Land, incredible film, and Whiplash is obviously amazing. So because of that, I would be. I mean, I me, I don't ascribe to the auteur theory, but I am still, I was still based on, what he's been able to do previously. Would be interested to see what he does with this. I really would not probably be interested in the subject matter because I've seen enough movies on old Hollywood. But yeah, let's see what Chazelle does with it. But I also didn't end up seeing it in the theater. So I guess I'm not that interested, but I'll watch it when it's streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I really wish I saw this in theaters. This is like, theater experience. This is big. This is audacious. This is crazy. I've heard, I've seen some clips of it. I saw the trailer obviously, and I've seen clips from it, and I saw, I've heard the music, and I'm like, okay, I've heard about the poop, I've heard about the excrement, I've heard about the puking, I've heard about the pee, and all that kind of stuff, and that's all in here, man.
Yeah, that's kind of honestly turned me off a little bit to it.
I mean, it just keeps going. I've never seen
I'm
a
like,
movie
do I
like
need
this.
to go up an elephant's butthole? Like, I don't.
No, this is not Uncut Gems. You don't actually go up anybody's butthole.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it just never stops. I thought, the pace that this movie kicks off at, I was like, okay, this is, we're half an hour in. Okay. 45 minutes in, you can keep going. All right. An hour in, 2 hours in, still going. I'm like, holy shit. This movie's pace just does not let up. And it was just kind of admirable to see that in this movie or any movie now, where it's just like he was obviously given free reign to do all of this stuff and to make it 3 hours and to put all these, A-lister stars in this movie doing all of these things that they do in this movie and saying the things that they're saying and doing the things they're doing. This is, really incredible. I really, really like this movie a lot.
Yeah. 2023 was kind of the year for directors just doing whatever the fuck they want, getting a bunch of money, and then they're probably never going to get, like, Spielberg making Fabelmans, Chazelle making Babylon. They're never going to give Robert Eggers $100 million to make another fucking movie, so I'm really glad we got The Northman. Even
Yes.
Michael Bay getting, to make Ambulance, I think was really great, so.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend this. I think this is $20. Is one of those, it just came out in VOD, so it's at home VOD, so it's still at that $20 price point. But I what did I do? Actually, no, I paid the $25 just to have it because I feel like this is one I'm probably gonna go back and watch multiple times. And then one more thing before we get to what you're watching, I watched Skidamarink, which is the new the new hotness on streaming right now on Shudder.
It's Canadian, so it's good horror. It's not this lowbrow American horror.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know the song, the Skidamarink song? Skidamarink?
Yeah, Skidamarink, dink, Skidamarink, do, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love you. Yeah, it sounds like one of those old-timey 1910s, 1915 things you see in a silent movie. Yeah. Yeah, this is everything that I sort of like in horror right now. This is very much my jam. Let me see if I can pull up my Letterboxd review, because I said it was like a combination of a bunch of different things that I really, really like. Let's see. I actually just finished it today. Let's see. It's really my jam. It's a combination of The Blair Witch, Eraserhead. Did you ever see Host? It was that movie that came out on Shudder like the very beginning of the pandemic. It was based on Zoom. Did you ever see that?
I did not. I have not seen any of the movies called Host. There's like 4 of them.
There is, yes. Do you remember the game PT, the video game PT that came out that Kojima made? It was basically you were just first-person game in and just somebody's apartment.
It's like Conan O'Brien and shit in it.
No. That was Death Stranding.
Oh,
that was like a whole game.
I don't know what you're talking about.
PT was a demo of a game that was supposed to come out. I think it was supposed to be. Yeah. Yes. You remember this now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like just in one person's like living room / hallway, and you just walk down and weird shit would come around. You need to figure out passwords. Really cool game. It reminded me of that. So basically the premise of the movie is like it's the found footage, but it's a found footage from the perspective of like a 6-year-old kids, 2 6-year-old kids that are just walking around their house in the middle of the night, hearing weird shit, hearing weird voices. But it's also my jam because it is a movie you can definitely interpret in your own way if you want to, and I very much like doing that. I love looking into movies and finding the hidden messages in them. There's definitely moments in here where it's pretty explicit, where you can hear the father or somebody coming home and slamming the door and stomping up the stairs. Then it cuts to him on the phone with his wife saying, blah, 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 it's fine, but she fell down the stairs and she hurt herself. So we're in the ER, but she's fine, So it's definitely, it has those little sprinkles of, this could be abuse, could be parental abuse, that sort of thing. But it's also, it's I love going on rabbit holes in the middle of the night, watching YouTube videos of like, do you know what liminal spaces are? It's like, I think the definition is like spaces between spaces. So like if you're in a hotel swimming pool and you're coming back from the swimming pool at night, and you're just in a hallway, you might have gotten lost, and everything looks the same. You turn around, looks the same, and that's that sort of thing. It's very much that. It's very much just what is this place, and it feels awkward and it feels just off just because it doesn't look right, you know.
That literally sounds like my nightmares. Like in
Yes.
my nightmares, I literally will like be trying to get places, and things will just be like, ah, this is the same place I just was, and I'll like be trying to walk places. So when I heard first about this film, I was like, this sounds great, and it's probably gonna scare the shit out of me, or I might be really fucking bored actually,
Yeah.
because from what I hear about this film, we'll just be like staring at a wall for like 3 hours.
Yes.
So I hope that you were watching this film and not like also playing like fucking like Escape from Tarkov or whatever at the same time.
I was playing. What was I playing? I was playing a
Oh
video game
God,
called
Damian.
Space Breaker. No, Space. Hard Space Shipbreaker. It's a game where you play. You're a laborer. You're a space laborer, and you're cutting. You're scrapping derelict freighters, and you're cutting off. You know, the side panels. You're cutting off the hulls and putting those in the furnace. And you're cutting off electronics, and you're shoving those away. I was playing that while I was watching Vengeance. It was a very, Vengeance. It's fine. I think you liked it a lot from last year.
Yeah,
I watched
Vengeance.
it.
That's fine, but you gave your full attention to Skidamarink, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, good.
So the other thing about Skidamarink is, at night when you're a kid, especially when you're a kid, but even now, you like look at a corner of your room and you'll have just a little bit of light, just enough so that you have to focus. Your eyes have to adjust to the darkness. It has shots like that too. And just like what I said with Hereditary, where it's, Hereditary has that famous shot of Tony Collette in the top corner of his room, right, in Peter's room, and
Yeah.
your eye has to adjust to the darkness to see her. And this movie is all of that. The entire movie is just that one shot over and over again, but in different rooms, different perspectives. I fucking love this movie. I'd highly recommend checking this out. It's streaming right now on Shudder. If you have Shudder, it's right there
Yeah,
for you.
I've been meaning to watch this. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Wolf House. I have on the dock. I have the Wolf House referenced. That was a movie from 2018. Very creepy, very like early Tool videos. The stop motion claymation stuff from their early videos. It was like that as well.
I'm gonna take your word for that. I'm not
Yeah.
as familiar with the only Tool music video I've seen is the one with Snoop Dogg and all the guys about Twisted Transistor, where all the rappers are playing the different members of Tool.
Oh no,
That's the only one.
I haven't seen
That
that
one's
one.
pretty fucking great. It's called Twisted Transistor. It used
Nice.
to be on MTV all the time. It's pretty hilarious.
Nice. Let's get to some stuff you've been watching. You checked out Women Talking, which I said last time was the only Oscar-nominated movie I haven't seen. So does this complete your goal to see all of the nominated movies from
I
this
still
year?
have to see Triangle of Sadness.
Oh,
I haven't been able to
gotcha.
see that one yet. It's not streaming anywhere, and it's
I believe
not
it's for
really in
rent.
any theaters.
I believe you can rent that
Is
right
it?
now. I think
It's
it's
like
rentable.
$20. I'm not paying $20 to rent it. Maybe if
No,
I go
no,
see it
no.
maybe if I go to a friend's house, we each pay 10 or
Yeah.
something. But I'm not
It's
gonna.
currently $7.99 on Amazon,
Well,
Amazon.com.
all right. Well, I might. There was a day like this week where
Yes.
there was like one 10 o'clock showing at night, and
Oh
I
yeah.
could have made it if like I had just like, but I was like, no, I had to work the next morning, so
Yes.
so I missed my very small window. But
Yeah.
yeah, Women Talking. I really dug this movie. I think it might have made my top 10 list of last year if I had seen it in time. Although I don't know if I'd be able to kick off any of those movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was really solid. Like obviously an incredible script because as the movie title implies, it's just women talking to each other, and I thought that it brings up a lot of really powerful, interesting issues. The way it handles just the kind of things about misogyny and just toxic masculinity, and it addresses it not as like a few bad eggs problem, but like as a more generational thing that as humanity we need to fix going forward, and it will be a long process, and like what avenue do we go through, and it gives all of these women different talking points for different solutions and difficult choices that everyone in it has to make. And it's like, yeah, this is a problem that is affecting women, but it is also like affecting men, and like men are negatively affected this, and women help perpetuate it in some ways, and then like certain groups of women like benefit from this, and like certain women, like the way that women look at trans people, and just like it's very, very, it's saying a lot of really interesting things. It is not a simple movie, and I liked this a lot more than something that handled similar subject matter um like uh uh what's that movie where Carey Mulligan is like from last year?
Um, Promising Young Woman. Promising Young Woman.
Promising Young Woman. Yeah, Promising Young Woman, which is like it's the same thing. It's like at the end of this, there's like okay, like there's some maybe actual solutions that are going to be difficult solutions put forward, but in Promising Woman, it's like I guess you just die sometimes, and that one bad guy gets taken care of, and it's I'm like, what is the message at the end of this? Like,
Right.
So I really liked Woman Talking a lot.
Nice. So I mean, possible spoiler for this, but did you know going in when it took place?
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay.
I had it spoiled for me by the film cast. It's not really a secret though. Watching the movie, it's kind of like it doesn't like really ever say it. It's not like the Village or something where you're like, what? But like yeah, like you it's kind of like you I feel like it doesn't ever explicitly say it, but like you can kind of just like tell, and it becomes more and more. Actually, it does at one point say specifically when it takes place. But yeah, I think you can kind of tell that it's not ever trying to trick you that it's set in the past.
Yeah, I definitely need to see this. Yeah, it's not playing. Yes. I'm having the Triangle Sadness problem where it's not playing anywhere near me, and I know it's not rentable anywhere right now, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, you also saw Plane. Was Plane good or Plane bad? Plain bad.
Plain bad. Plain okay. Plain fun. Plain fun. This movie was the exact opposite of Woman Talking. This movie was so fucking stupid, and it was saying nothing about anything. It was just Jerry Butler taking the mantle from Liam Neeson of like, fuck it, it's a January action movie. Yeah. It's just Die Hard on an island. Randomly, like I describe it to a friend as just like Die Hard like meets Lost kind of is what it felt like, because it's like oh yeah, there's this plane that crashes on this mysterious island. There's this group of shady others there, and there's a Korean couple there, and there's like one of the people is in handcuffs, but maybe the main character has to trust the person in handcuffs, even though they're an escaped convict for murder. And I'm like, that's Lost, but okay. I would have they set up like a lot of cliches, but they don't deliver on them, which I'm like, okay, I'm glad you didn't go with the cliche, but why even introduce that character then? And I really wanted them to go a lot more into Mike Coulter's character, Mike Coulter, who plays the convict. I'm most familiar with him as Luke Cage, but he's also in shows like Evil, which I really need to check out. But yeah, he's this really interesting, badass character who's like, he's like, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to get to see what his crazy backstory was. And then they give us Jerry Butler's backstory, and then they just like never mentioned why Mike Coulter was a murderer, and then his ending is just very abrupt. And you're like, all right, I guess that didn't fucking matter, but whatever. It's a very just dumb January movie, but it's fun. I had more fun with it than like Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah, exactly. And then something else that seems like it could be a dumb January movie, National Treasure: Edge of History. What is this?
This is the TV show. Are you familiar with the yes. National Treasure films starring one Nicolas Cage and one Justin Bartha?
Oh, yes. Right.
Yes. Well, this is a spin-off Disney Plus show. And it's fun. It's in the same, world as National Treasure. There's some Nicolas Cage isn't in it, but you do see some characters. It starts off with Harvey Keitel. Spoiler for the first 5 minutes of the show, but it starts out with the death of Harvey Keitel's character, and that kind of kicks things off and kicks off the mystery and the treasure hunt. Justin Bartha comes back for an episode. There's like some minor characters that show up, and he's like, oh, this guy was like, oh yeah, I missed a tip on getting like them stealing the Declaration of Independence. It's fun to be in that world again, to hear the kind of like the themes which are iconic to me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is just a great fun treasure hunting theme, but kind of spiced up and made a little bit more interesting. It's a very like when they make a show out of a movie, and there's but I think the best thing about the show is the same thing that is also great about National Treasure 1, and to a lesser extent National Treasure 2, is the villain. Like the villain, this is Catherine Zeta-Jones, and she's just having so much fun being evil. She's just like, yes, bring the clue to me or I'll kill your friend. And you're just like, yes, go queen. Platinum blonde dyed Catherine Zeta-Jones being evil as fuck. I love it. I'm there for it. It's delicious chef's kiss.
Awesome. What is that streaming on?
It's Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Nice. All right.
Yes.
Let's see. Episode checked out Killing Eve, which is one of the things I always recommended whenever. Well, let me go back. I've recommended it when it was good. Season 1 when it was good.
Yes.
So did you start with season 1? I'm assuming.
Well, I had watched up to I'd watched the first 3 seasons, but I had not finished. I didn't watch the season 4 when it was premiering, and like you said, it progressively every season brought in a new showrunner that was a little bit worse than the showrunner before that. Like it started off with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and then they brought in somebody else I like, but not quite as much. Who was Emerald Fennell, who I just trashed on one of her movies a second ago, but she's a talented writer. Then somebody I'd never heard of, and for this last season, someone else I'd never heard of, and this last season was really bad. Like this season 4 was like I was also like I don't remember anything. I had to watch like 4 recap videos to like even remember because it's so tangled. There's so much just like who backstabbed who and like why was this guy working for MI6, but actually they were a Russian triple agent, and just like it hurt my brain at times. I didn't just remember all this stuff from like 5 years ago when I first watched this show. and you're just like, well, Eve, just get the fuck out of there. She's a psychopath murderer who tried to murder you and killed your best friend and got your husband killed. Get the fuck out of there, Eve. Why are you in love with her? like what is happening? And just I don't know. The way it ends is kind of just very meh. And like even the writer of the original Villanelle novels was like, this ending fucking sucks. So yeah, it's not worth it. Like watch season 1 and maybe season 2 of Killing Eve, but like you don't need to finish it. Like I had it on as a background show, which made it even worse. Like because I was like playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and shit, which I don't get how you do that all the time. Like I'm just like, what is happening on this fucking show? Like I just trying to raise my price on the fucking the theme park maps in this game,
right?
And then just like I don't know.
Well. Yes, I mean you know it was vengeance. It's vengeance. It's fine. I know the beats, man. The beats kept coming, and it was he's gonna interview the real America, right? I got that part. He's part of the elites, and he doesn't understand real America. So yeah, it's good. I got it.
But what a burger! It's there.
It's just there. But what makes it special? But because it's just there. Why do you like it so much? Because it's there.
It's not even that good, by the way. I've been to Texas. Sorry, Texas. But I've been to Whataburger. Yeah. It's no fucking In-N-Out Burger. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Come at me, bro. California, win an In-N-Out Burger.
Right. Have you experienced Five Guys in your time?
Yeah, there's Five Guys all over the place. I've got nice. Five Guys is good. Five Guys is fucking delicious.
Yeah, I had some Five Guys tonight. It's very good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It is. So last thing you watched was Poker Face, the new hotness, written in. I know it's written by, or some of the episodes are written by, what's his face from Glass Onion?
Ryan Johnson. Yeah, he's the showrunner.
Yes.
Like the mysteries are whatever, they're fine. The premise of the show, if anybody's not familiar, is that this character who starts off working in a casino and then, I'll just say things go a little bit awry. She can tell when anyone is lying. And I watched the first episode and some of the second episode, and I mean, part of the reason obviously is because I love Knives Out and Glass Onion, but honestly, the main part is Natasha Lyonne. Like, she's so great. They make her look like Stevie Nicks in this, and she's just like, "Yeah, I can tell when anybody's lying. All right, honey, it's just like it's a thing. I can tell." And I'm just like, "Yeah, I will watch her read the phone book. Like, I don't care. Like, she's so great." So yeah, like, and she's having fun with it. It's a fun, great show. So I talked before about how much I loved her on Russian Doll. So I've been having fun with that. I'm slowly catching up. It's every Thursday. I was gonna wait to binge this one too, but I just kind of dove in because I was like, I need to watch something. I'm gonna watch Poker Face.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
Good things, and it's been good, yeah.
Yeah. Peacock's one of those ones I don't have. Probably won't get that one, but yeah.
Damian, how are you gonna watch seasons 1 through 6 of The Office then?
1 through 6. Didn't Carell leave on 7 at the beginning of 7?
Who knows? Around there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I also got it when there was like a sale. I got it for like a year of Peacock for like $20. So
I saw they had that deal. I was like, maybe I will. So let me get to what we're reading before we get to our topic of the week, most anticipated project of 2023. Stella Maris is probably going to be one of the last books Cormac McCarthy writes, one of my favorite living American authors. It's not, it's not a bold statement. I think it's a lot of people's favorite American author. For those who don't know, he wrote No Country for Old Men. He wrote Blood Meridian, wrote a bunch of amazing books, but he also wrote a movie I've heard is not great called The Counselor. Remember The Counselor from like 2012?
People hate that movie.
Yes, I've never seen it, so yeah. But this is a sequel or a compendium, you could say, to his other book that came out last year called The Passenger. This is very much an appendix, very much a epilogue to that book. Same characters, but it's the entire book is one long conversation between the main character and she's a what do you call that when you hear voices in your head? Is that schizophrenia? Is that what that is? So she has schizophrenia. She has a bunch of people in her head, and she talks to a therapist about it. And it's a very, very interesting, conversation that a very intelligent person would have with a therapist, where she's, saying his lines before him. She's very much ahead of him in the conversation. And yeah, it's just very cool. It's a conversation I have, myself a lot, which is like, these what do you,
are you schizophrenic?
Did I say myself? I meant my cat. My cat is very much real, very much talks to me.
Maybe I've been meaning to tell you I'm not real. Yeah. You've just been talking to yourself when you've been recording these podcasts.
Podcast by myself? Whoa.
Yeah, like crazy. I was like, if you're ever wondering why we don't do video, it's because I'm just a voice in your head.
Just a voice, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's a conversation she has with the therapist about life and death and thinking about what's real and what's she gets into like what's valuable, what's materialism, and her brother their parents die and her brother leaves her a bunch of money and she buys a violin with it because that's the only beauty she sees in the world and all this kind of stuff. So it's very, very interesting. It's an incredibly short book. I regretted buying it on Audible because, you have to spend basically $13. A token is basically $13 on Audible. So I spent it on there. It wasn't a great purchase. And also for those that are looking to get into the Annihilation series written by Jeff VanderMeer, this is the books that the Annihilation movie was based on. There is a trilogy of them, and it's called Area X. And if you buy that on Audible, you get basically 3 books for one token, which is what I should have done. But it's very, very good. I've heard, with the Last of Us series coming out with mushrooms on people's brains and that sort of thing. This does that stuff very well as well. Mossy stuff and creepy crawly fungi stuff is very much an element of that book. So I highly recommend checking out the what's it called? Area X series written by Jeff VanderMeer. So that's what I've been reading this week. Yes. So with that, let's get to our most anticipated prestigious stuff of 2023. I was
real fast. I wanted to say I didn't put it on the doc, but I've also been reading something and been reading a lot of books on film, and we were kind of talking about this before the show. But I'm reading right now Rebel Without a Crew, which is Robert Rodriguez's book about his time making El Mariachi. And if anybody is interested in becoming a filmmaker or doing film independently, it's a really eye-opening, interesting experience to see how something with a micro budget like that got made and how he kind of like blew up overnight. Very fascinating read if you are into making film at all. And with me having just also watched Primer, which was made for also the same budget, $7,000, just one guy doing it all himself with no crew or anything. It's been a really good, interesting insight to that. Just wanted to throw that out there real fast.
Yeah, I've wanted to read that as well. Also, Easy Riders Raging Bulls is another, classic book on movies. Last year, maybe the year before, I read the biography on, what's his name? Blanking on his name. The guy is a famous director from the 60s and 70s. Mike Nichols. No, Mike Nichols, written by Mark Harris, wrote a Mike Nichols biography a couple of years ago, which was very eye-opening about the movie business back then. So I'd recommend checking that one as well. So with that, let's get to our most anticipated prestigious projects of 2023. Not nerdy. Most of the things are not necessarily categorized as genre. There's some stuff in here that you could sort of fit into like a sci-fi mold or like an action mold, action adventure mold, blockbuster mold. But for the most part, these are those things they would probably see being talked about at the end of the year during award season. So with that lead up, let's get to my list. I was going to say right up until the last minute, you were saying you had to, adjust the recording schedule a little bit. I was like, that's good because right up to the last minute, I was moving around my list here, even though I'll talk about some of my 11, 12, and 13 spots and all my honorable mentions later on. But starting out,
I did have to give you some time.
Yes, because I was moving around Wonka and I was moving around Asteroid City.
Were you moving Wonka to the garbage bin? What the fuck?
Come on, bro!
Come on. I don't need a gritty Willy Wonka origin story.
It's directed by the same director as the Paddington movies. They're lovely. They're sweet. They're saccharine. I love those movies. Let me just talk about that one for a second, since you're degrading it without even. There's been no trailer. There's been no teaser trailer. There's been no, on the set pictures from this movie.
There's a set poster of him looking real like, look at me, I'm the Joker of Willy Wonka over his shoulder.
The Joker of Willy Wonka. Do you want to know how I got these scars? Got them from chocolate.
I got this chocolate. I don't need a fucking dark, gritty Willy Wonka origin story. God damn it.
How do you know? You don't know. You don't need it.
Oh, man.
How dare you? It stars Timothy Chalamet, Keegan-Michael Key, Sally Hawkins. It's a stacked cast, dude. Olivia Colman, Rowan Atkinson. It's incredible. Looks incredible.
All right. I'll watch it, but I'm not excited about this movie.
But anyways, that was just the honorable mention. That was my number 11. My number 10 is Asteroid City. This is set to be released June 16th that was a limited release on June 16th before opening wide on June 23rd. The premise is in 1955, students and parents from across the country gather for a scholarly competition, rest and relaxation. It's a comedy, drama, and romance at a junior stargazing convention held in a fictional American desert town. If that doesn't sound like a Wes Anderson movie, then I don't know what is. Sounds very much like a Wes Anderson movie.
Very quirky.
I could not go through this cast list because I would lose my voice.
I don't know anything about this movie, but I'm just gonna guess some cast. All right, I'm gonna guess Bill Murray. I'm gonna guess Bill Murray. I'm gonna guess Edward Norton. And I'm gonna guess Bruce Willis. Am I right? Am I 3 for 3?
You got Edward Norton. You got. Let's see, is Bruce Willis on here? I don't see Bruce Willis on here, and I also don't see Bill Murray, so that's different.
Bill Murray's going to be in the movie. I guarantee you Bill Murray's going to be in this movie.
Sure.
Well, maybe not, because some stuff with him recently, but...
Yeah. Do you know...
He's still an Ant-Man, so...
Right. Do you know the top-rated person? Third from the top. An actor he's never worked with before.
An actor who's never worked with before. He doesn't just work with Frances McDormand over and over and over again.
Very nice guy. Has been in a lot of biographical movies, biopics recently.
Oh, Paul Dano?
Nope. Older guy, older gentleman. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is in this film.
Oh, is he going to do another weird European accent? That's terrible.
Semi, like, it's rural, but it's also like Estonian. It's like, what the fuck? You got Tony Ravioli. Tony Ravioli.
Tony Ravioli.
The guy from the Spider-Man movies. Tony Revolori. Sorry. Revolori. It sounds like ravioli.
There's actually an interview where somebody was talking to him and they're like, Tony, and they jokingly say Tony Ravioli, and they're like, is that right? And he's like, yes. And he's like, really? And he's like, no.
I'm trying to see if there's anybody else he hasn't worked with yet. Bryan Cranston is also in this. I don't believe he's been in anything.
He was in Isle of Dogs.
Oh, that's right. Good pull. Nice pull.
Dogs.
Yes, one of the dogs, one of the many dogs.
Yes.
Of course. I think Sophia Lillis is brand new for this cast for his people.
Yeah.
Sophia Lillis was in It. She was a blonde. She was in It. Yes.
Wait, she was redhead, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like her. She's good. She's gonna be in the new D&D movie.
Yep.
Which I mentioned last week.
So that was my number 10, Asteroid City, coming out June 16th. was my number 10. What is your number 10 most anticipated prestigious movie of 2023?
Yeah, Asteroid City almost made my list. It just kind of closely missed out. But my number 10 is one that should I hold off because I think this is going to be much higher on your list. But it's Mission Impossible 7-1.
Oh yeah, way higher.
So, yeah,
way
Mission Impossible
higher.
7-1.
Oh yeah.
It's like when they came out with Final Fantasy X too. You know.
Exactly. See if there's any quick costume changes in that one.
Yeah. So we can hold off on talking about that one until we get to it.
Yeah,
on
sure.
Yours.
My number 9. We'll see if this is on your list at all. Scream 6.
No, I mean,
yeah.
I like Scream 1 and 2. I haven't seen any of the rest of them. I'm just at this point. I'm like, all right, how many? They even say in the trailer, she's like, a lot of people. There's been like 10 ghost faces before you, dude.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So this brings back Hayden Panettiere as Kirby Reed. She was the survivor of the 2011, dude. 2011. Scream 4 was 2011. That was 12 years ago. Ugh.
I was like, wait, she wasn't in Scream 5. It had my new spooky crush in it, Jenny Ortega.
We got Samara Weaving in this, which she was also in Babylon, which is interesting because she looks like, off-brand Margot Robbie, which she was basically playing in that movie, which is very interesting. Yep.
Yeah, Hugo Weaving's daughter, I think.
Niece, I believe. Niece, okay. Yes. We also have Mr. Tony Ravioli in this as well. Ravioli, how do you say that? And then, of course, returning legacy survivors, Gail Weathers, played by Courtney Cox. Let's see. Jenna Ortega is also in this. Tara Carpenter's Sam's half-sister. That's interesting. Whoever Sam was. Oh my God. Do you want to hear a slight spoiler? They have it in the cast list on the Wikipedia.
Is it Timothy Olyphant? If not, I'm not interested, but you could tell me.
Is it Timothy Olyphant? Let's see.
It's not Timothy Olyphant. Spoiler alert for Scream 2, the 1997 movie. He dies in Scream 2.
Who was Billy Loomis? Was that Timothy Olyphant? No, that's Skeet Ulrich. Okay, that's Skeet Ulrich. But Miss Melissa Barrera plays Sam Carpenter, the illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis, which is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so there we go. That's Scream 6. That's coming out to March 10th, pretty soon.
See if I can watch Scream 3, 4, 5 before March 10th. And
3, 4, and 5. Yeah. What is your number 9?
My number 9 is, yes. So you probably have this higher up on your list, but it's The Killer.
Oh, yeah. A little bit higher. So we'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, put a pin in that. My number 8, let's see if you have this higher. Creed 3.
I do not. I have not seen any of the movies in that series except for Rocky 1.
Oh my God. You had so much homework to do.
I've seen Rocky 1.
You've got so much you have so much homework to do this year,
I'm not going to watch these movies. I don't give a shit about
They are so good. I don't give a
shit about
They're so good. They've got like 90% of Rotten Tomatoes. Directed by Ryan Coogler, one of the best directors.
I guess if they've got
one of the best directors out there working right now. Come on, man.
He was raised in hate.
They're legitimately great. I watched them not as they came out, but later on, and they're incredible.
He's not even directing this one.
Is he
Michael
not?
B. Jordan's directing this one.
He is directing that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you got what's his name? You got Jonathan Majors coming in here.
I do like Jonathan Majors a lot.
He is so swole, incredibly. Mm. What is your number 8?
My number 8, one that's going to be higher on your list, I think. Barbie.
Yep, it is higher. Yeah. Boy, you're not very excited for all of these. You're like, I
am excited. They were my top 10 of the year.
Okay, all right. So that's higher. That's much higher.
Out, right?
That's much. I'm very interested to know what's in your top 5. My number 7 most anticipated movie this year it was called Disappointment Boulevard, but is now called Beau is Afraid, from writer-director Ari Aster, Mr. Hereditary and Midsommar director.
Okay. I was like, what is this? When I saw this on your list, your long list, I was like, okay, Ari Aster though. Okay.
Yeah,
I like Midsommar a lot. So
yeah, I'm assuming this is not on your list.
I didn't know what it was, so I didn't make the list.
Yep.
And I mean, I like Hereditary, just not as much as everyone else, but I like Midsommar more than everyone else. So
yeah,
I guess it balances out.
What is your number 7?
My number 7 is, and I don't think this one's on your list. And I was almost like, should I have put this one on the nerd list? I'm like, no, never mind. It's got a couple awards. There's a couple Oscar that people at its lead, and it's based on a classic novel, sort of. But that is Renfield. Do you know what this is?
Yeah,
so the movie.
Yep. Go ahead.
starring Nicholas Hoult as Dracula's assistant, with Nicolas Cage himself as Dracula. Like, this looks. I've been excited for it. I saw the trailer last night before Knock at the Cabin for the first time, because I kind of avoid watching trailers unless I'm in a theater. And God, this looks so fun. This looks so just ridiculous and buzzball exciting. Just like Nicolas Cage as Dracula is inspired casting. I love Nicholas Holtz. I just thought he was incredible in The Menu earlier this year, and he's always just kind of like a really likable, hot idiot. So I'm excited to see him in Renfield. I'm really stoked on this movie. This is one of my few movies that's just like, oh, I'm down for this concept more than this filmmaker or anything like that. But yeah, I am really ready for Renfield.
I am too, and you know why? I got the Wikipedia article pulled up, and you know what this is? This is a reboot of the Dark Universe, baby. It's the Universal's Dark. It's the reboot of, according to the Wikipedia, and the Wikipedia is never wrong. It is a reboot. It's gonna bring back Tom Cruise's Mummy. Gonna bring back Javier Bardem as the Wolfman. Let's go. Let's do this. Dark Universe.
Is it going to bring back Luke Evans as Dracula Untold? No, then I don't care.
Yeah, if you go to Wikipedia, I just learned this. I just pulled it up. I was like, yes, love it. I loved the trailer for The Mummy that was released too early and it didn't have half the audio, and you could hear people on the plane going,
Okay, it says it's a reboot of Universal's Dracula series. That's like old school.
All right.
That's not the Dark Universe with this fucking guy.
I got excited, man. Why do you gotta crush my dreams? I had a dream of the Dark Universe coming back and you just crushed it. Anyways.
Sorry, man. Maybe they can hire Tim Gunn and he'll save it.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on from that, my number 6 anticipated movie is The Killer. It's a little bit higher than you mentioned it. You had it at number 9, I believe you said? 9 or 10?
Yeah, number 9 I had this one.
Number 9, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a really big Fincher fan. I love David Fincher. So I'm excited for this. I think this is his first animated film. I know he did that episode of Love, Death, and Robots, but I've loved all of his movies. So there was just stuff ahead of it. It'll be I'm curious to see how he deals with something animated, though.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the return of Michael Fassbender. I know he's coming back for this year. He's coming back for Next Goal Wins, I believe, the new Taika Waititi movie coming out later this year. So glad to see he finally put down the driving wheel, which apparently he's been doing for the past 5 years. Did you know that he's like an F1 or F2 driver right now, or trying to be?
Just like out there racing against Frankie Muniz or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Or is he Frankie Muniz in NASCAR? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. But that should be interesting. Glad to see him coming back. Yeah. So that was my number 6. What is your number 6?
My number 6 is, ironically, it's a guy who, despite being nothing like him, I always confuse with David Fincher, and that is Steven Soderbergh's movie that's coming out this year, and that's Magic Mike 3.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I fucking love Magic Mike 1. I think it is a masterpiece, a super underrated movie, one of Soderbergh's best, I think. I never actually saw Magic Mike 2 because it wasn't directed by Soderbergh, so I didn't really have any interest in it. But he's coming back, and he's going to do the third one. I think that especially the first one is this really interesting film about aging and maturity and stuff like that. And this seems like it's gonna be kind of the capper to that story about he's this older guy now, and he's just been this male stripper, and what has his life meant, and just I'm just really interested by all of that. Just he's like. I think people didn't like it at the time because men were like, I don't want to watch this movie about male strippers, and women were like, I want to watch this movie about male strippers, and it's like, oh, this is a deep contemplative movie about inevitability of death, and this is not what I signed up for. I just want to see Channing Tatum's wiener. So I think it was really what anybody signed up for except for me. So I was in the tank for this one, and I'm really excited to see Magic Mike 3, and I might watch 2 on HBO Max before I see this one. But yeah, Soderbergh, I'm always a fan of, as we'll talk about later when we get to our Letterboxd stuff.
Yeah, that's Magic Mike's Last Dance coming out February 10th. Forgot to mention release dates for a lot of this, but it's going to be later on. I think Asteroid City was, or said June 16th for that one. Scream 6 actually I did mention a lot of them. What am I talking about? I'm so confused.
I feel I forgot to ask if this was on your list, but I feel like it probably wasn't, so I just kind of talked through it.
So I have a middling a assortment of my honorable mentions just down below. So this is in the 20 spot, which isn't, it could be anywhere, but I have a bunch of things down there we can talk about in a minute. Let's see, that was your number 6. So my number 5 is a movie that has been mentioned a few times on the Big Pick because it was, drafted by one of them paid like $580 for this like last year because I thought it was going to come out in 2022 or at the end there. It ended up not coming out. This is Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. Obviously,
put a pin in this one. All right.
Okay, I will. I will indeed. Yeah. So what is your number 5? Yes. What is your number 5?
My number 5, sticking with big name directors, and this is a big name director doing a big movie, a epic that was subject matter that was famously wanted to be tackled by Stanley Kubrick, and that is going to be Ridley Scott's Napoleon, starring Joaquin Phoenix. Is this in your top 10?
No, sir.
Okay, then yeah, I'm excited for this. I think I'm always a fan of Ridley Scott historical epic films, especially. I think he's had some great, obviously, collaborations with Joaquin Phoenix in historical. He's great as Commodus, so it'll be really cool to see what Scott does with this. So I'm an easy sell for this one.
Yeah, exactly. It's got Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon, Vanessa Kirby, who I like a lot, as Empress Josephine. Wasn't she? She replaced somebody that was like in there first and had to back out at the last minute. Forget who that was.
Yeah, I don't remember who, but yeah.
Yeah. It looks incredible. Can't wait for that. Supposedly coming to Apple TV Plus. Unfortunately, would like to see that in theaters.
Yeah.
Let's see. So that was your number 5. Let's get the top ones. I believe so. Some of us. my number 4. I'd be very surprised if this is not on your top 5. This is not a meme. This is not a joke. I'm legitimately excited for Barbie.
Barbie was my number. My number 8.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So Greta Gerwig coming back. First time. Or not first time directing, but first time directing in a while. Let's see. Yeah, romantic comedy directed by Greta Gerwig. Forget what her last movie was. Was it even Lady Bird? 2017's Lady Bird?
I think so. I don't know if she's done anything since then.
Yeah. So this should be interesting. Obviously, very memorable trailer just came out a few weeks ago. The 2001 reference in there.
Right.
We've heard about the, Margot Robbie as Barbie, Ryan Gosling as Ken. I think some of those.
That is like that's all they needed to say to get me on board. They're like, Gosling is Ken in this movie. I'm like, you got it. I'm there. Well, I'm there opening day.
You're excited for Ryan Gosling aesthetically, or are you a fan of his acting? Because my friends are not a fan of Ryan Gosling as an actor.
Oh, all of the above. Honestly, I think he is one of my he's one of my greatest actors of our generation, and I think he gets that gets downplayed because he is so handsome. It's like what Paul Newman you said is like I think it was the verdict he would say. He's like, this is the first movie where I knew I was a good actor, because he was getting old and he was starting to lose his looks, and he's like, before that I was just blue-eyed Paul Newman, like one of the most handsome men in the world. And I think that's the same thing happens with Ryan Gosling, is people just are like, wow, this guy's just so fucking hot that like it doesn't matter how good of an actor he is, but he really is, and he's incredibly versatile, especially in a time when so many people that are legitimately good actors, like Ryan Reynolds, is just becoming Deadpool. Like, Gosling is still doing weird, different experimental stuff. Like, he'll be deep and contemplative in one movie, and then he'll just be like a psychopath in another, and then he'll fall in love with a sex doll in another, and just I think he's phenomenal, and he's also like aesthetically nice to look at. He's a beautiful man.
Right.
With a very, very nice face, and a 6-pack. As we all learned in Crazy Stupid Love, he's got that great 6-pack, and he can hold Emma Stone over his head. No, that's real. That's Ryan Gosling's real abs that I won't hear any slander.
No, that was the line that
Oh,
That was the
it's
line
like you're
that photoshopped. Yes, yeah,
That's
exactly.
What
This is actually a stacked cast. I didn't look at the rest of the cast for this
Simu
movie.
Liu is another Ken. Like, God,
Yes, Simu Liu,
so
another
good. It get
Ken
yeah.
Kingsley Benadir, Issa Rae, some the names I can't pronounce, but I'm sure they're great actors. As playing different variations of Ken and Barbie. We also have Will Ferrell as a toy company CEO, Kate McKinnon, Michael Ferreira, Michael Cera, Rhea Perlman, Emerald Fennell, apparently acts as well. Yeah, stack cast. Very cool. Can't wait for that
Very
on
excited
July
for
20.
this one.
Very excited for this on July 21st. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is one that I think is higher on your list. It's Dune
Yeah.
2, so we can save it and
Yes.
talk about it.
Yeah. And then, of course, have to have the other side of the coin. The other movie coming out on July 21st, Oppenheimer, baby. Is this higher on your list?
This is your number 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my number 3. This is also my number 3. So
nice.
yeah, this
Very
is
cool.
the first part. I'm gonna chase it with Barbie. You start off depressing with Oppenheimer. You chase it with Barbie.
Yeah, exactly. Is that the order you're gonna go in with?
That's the order. Yeah, you don't start out happy and then go depressed. You start out depressed and then you go happy. By the way, side note, when I saw Women Talking, the first 2 trailers I saw were 80 for Brady and then Oppenheimer, and I made my brain implode. Like it was like Rita Moreno's wants to fuck Tom Brady, and then it was all of a sudden it was just like, and it starts with a nuke like exploding, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Oh man, yeah, this movie looks incredible. Just another movie with a stacked cast. Obviously, Cillian Murphy as the titular Robert Oppenheimer, Emily Blunt as his wife Kitty Oppenheimer, Matt Damon as Leslie Groves, Robert Downey Jr. in one of his first post MCU roles as Louis Strauss, Florence Pugh is in here. Rami Malek is in here. Benny Safdie, which is, I've seen him in a few things. He's actually a really good actor, as well as a great director. Josh Hartnett coming back. We got the Hard Renaissance going on here.
Yes.
Yeah. Love that.
Oh boy, Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
Hartnett.
Kenneth Branagh, David Krumholtz, Alden Ehrenreich, and Alden Ehrenreich. Yeah, that name.
Doesn't matter.
That's a name that you should do like during a sobriety test. If you can say Alden Ehrenreich in your first try, then you're probably not drunk.
Arclight Theater.
Matthew Modine, Jack Quaid, Josh Peck of Peck and Josh and Drake Frame. Jake and Josh Fame. Scott,
Drake and Josh?
Josh and Drake. Jake and Josh, whatever the fuck his name is.
Are you having a stroke?
Oh, and of course, Gary Oldman as Harry S. Truman. So that should be really cool. It is a very good casting. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of stuff with, radiation in it. Obviously, Chernobyl had that in it. One of my favorite long form podcasts is Hardcore History. I forget the host name, but he went into, a 5-part, 6-part series on Japan. And obviously, they were one of the only victims of a direct nuclear attack in the history of the world. But also, he delved a little bit into, obviously, the test the U.S. went through. They did a lot of nuclear tests on foreign soil, on, obviously in the ocean there. Also did a lot of testing in Nevada, which I learned recently was one of the reasons John Wayne and a lot of people that filmed Country Western.
One that racist ass movie that he made where he was like Genghis Khan or whatever.
You could see it in there, but also just in general, people that filmed a lot of movies back then in that area obviously got a lot of cancer from it. So I wonder if I really am curious on how they will. It's always that thought we always have about how do you make an unlikable character likable? How do you find sympathy about a character and a person that's complex and as complex and as influential and as important to history as somebody like Oppenheimer? He famously went on the news or had an interview where he's obviously very self-reflective and self-aware of, he said, like, I am death. I am become death, destroyer of worlds. That famous phrase he said. It'd be very interesting to see what kind of story they say about his life.
Yeah, no, I'm very curious to check it out. Very glad that Cillian Murphy, who has been in all of Nolan's films pretty much since like the early days, is finally getting to be the lead character as this very complex dude. So should be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep. So that was my number 3. What is your number 3?
That was my number 3.
That was there. Yeah, you said that.
That was also my number 3. Yeah.
Indeed. My
So
number
lined up
2.
on that one.
Yeah, number 2. You had Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning at, what was it, 10, 9, 10 or 9?
That was my
around
10.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. This is just a great July. Look at that, July 14th. We got Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. The following week, we got Oppenheimer and Barbie on the same day. Oh man, oh my, oh my.
When does Indy come out? Was it
That's a good
Indy
question.
July?
I think they said
Or is it
around
June?
that. Indy. What was it? What's the movie called? The Dial.
The Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, Dial of Destiny.
June 30th.
June 30th. Good month.
Almost.
Yeah. My birthday's on July 19th, so good. Oh, June 30th. Yeah. So, good 3 weeks there of movies. Let me see. Mission Impossible. I had the thing open a second ago. Let's see. How many?
You're a Cancer.
Derek?
You're a Cancer then, right?
I am a Cancer. I believe they almost moved me out of Cancer when they did the whole rearrangement a few years ago, but I'm still a Cancer. Yeah.
I've dated too many girls born in July. I know these things. It's not good. Too many astrology girls.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier about movie franchises that you haven't seen. You haven't seen the Creeds. You haven't seen the Screams. Have you seen? Are you caught up with the Mission Impossible franchise?
Yeah, I've seen all of the Mission Impossibles up to what's been released. I am a very big fan of them.
Yep.
I will say that while they're obviously really great, one thing I love about particularly the first 4 Mission Impossibles is how it's like, here's a generic kind of plot, and let's see how a different filmmaker will approach this thing. With J.J. Abrams, you get this kind of cerebral spy thriller. With Brad Bird, you get a very fast-paced action spy movie. With John Woo, you get a bad movie with birds flying around and a virus that's going to kill the world.
Okay.
So, and De Palma, you get like this like movie with all these weird close-ups and like it's a psycho thriller. So I liked seeing that aspect of it, and now it's just like a generic Christopher McQuarrie, just Tom Cruise is basically the director on these movies now. They're all just kind of like it's just and that's what has happened with so many film series in Hollywood, is they all are kind of like a long overarching story, rather than being each one being its own part, which I do like those overarching stories, but that was something that was different about the Mission Impossible movies, with them having a different director every time, a different feel every time. Even if one was bad, like Mission Impossible 2, you're like, we'll just get a different director in the next one, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still excited for it, but that's why it's my number 10 instead of my number 2.
And yeah, I just want with Top Gun Maverick from last year, I really am in all the camp. I am the Tom Cruise camp of safe cinema, daddy. Please bring me these amazing physical, realistic, practical effects, practical stunts. At this point, it's just like, what's going to happen in this movie? What's he going to do in this movie? What's going to be the big set pieces? You've definitely, like you said, just really gotten away from this, like, small scale spy thriller thing, and now it's just like, what's the big set piece? What can we do? How can we top the last movie? I think in a lot of ways this has definitely usurped things like the James Bond franchise, which used to be this. It used to be that movie you went to see, the spy movie with the cool spy things, and didn't take itself too seriously. And the fast movies, I think, usurped that. And let me ask you something about this movie, particularly because I'm looking at the Wikipedia entry, and this might be a spoiler, again, a Wikipedia spoiler for this, but it has Henry Cavill in the second spot below Tom Cruise. Did he not die in the last one? That's what I said. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I thought he was dead.
I thought he was dead.
He charged his arms and then he died.
He did. You know what? I'm on the wrong Wikipedia. That's why I'm
okay.
all confused.
All right, there you go. There's your problem.
There's my problem. I was on the Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout thing there. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. So we got Tom Cruise. Ving Rhames is second. Ving Rhames is one of those guys that you would think would have, been killed off already. He was this.
He's the only guy besides Tom Cruise who's in every single one.
Exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, he is. Ving Rhames, then Simon Pegg. Obviously, I think Simon Pegg's been there since the third one, if I'm remembering correctly.
3 was the one he first came in because he's buddies with JJ.
Yes. Let's see. Vanessa Kirby's coming on in this one. She was really great in. She was one of the only good parts of Hobbs and Shaw. So she can definitely do that action stuff very well. Haley Atwell coming in here. Always like to see her. Wondering. Yes, that was doing the spy stuff way back in the day. Back in the day, chronologically, but also, in the 50s. So that's interesting. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Let's see. Yeah. In July 14th, right 5 days before my birthday. What is your number 2?
So my number 2 is one of my favorite all-time directors is coming out of his second or third retirement. He's like Michael Jordan. He keeps retiring, but he can't stay away. And that is, of course, Hayao Miyazaki, who had previously retired after making Princess Mononoke, and then retired again after making The Wind Rises. But after 10 years, he just got to work, and he's coming out of retirement to make How Do You Live, which I know really nothing about other than Miyazaki's back. I've seen every one of his films. He's made some of the most beautiful, poignant, touching animated films of all time, and I have a feeling just based on the title that this movie is gonna fucking wreck me. So I am all on board for this movie. I don't need to know nothing else other than it's Miyazaki. I'm gonna be there immediately to watch this one.
Yeah, me too as well. I don't know if we've done like a top 5 Miyazaki Studio Ghibli movies.
We should. We
really should. They always talk about, the Princess Mononoke's and the Spirited Away's. Spirited Away won the best picture or best animated movie that year.
Yeah.
I really love the lesser known ones, less talked about ones, like Whisper of the Heart is an incredible small scale story. Only yesterday.
He didn't direct that one, but did he write it?
I'm not sure. Just look into that. But yeah, Only Yesterday is another great small scale one. Obviously, My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service was incredible. But yeah, it's the smaller ones I always mostly connect with more so than even things like Howl's Moving Castle was a little bit higher scale. But
I do love Howl. I do love Howl's Moving Castle.
Howl's very good. And they always have these movies always have incredible food. I remember watching Ponyo for the first time a few years ago, and it had some of the best ramen on screen was in that movie.
Oh my god. So the food in Spirited Away. Oh my god.
Well, that was part of the whole
just like that gif of just like no face, and he's just like in front of this. It's like me on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So this comes out, I believe they have written down July 14th in Japan, so we'll see when it comes stateside. So that was your number 2. My number 1, I believe, did you talk about it already, or is it on your honorable mentions? Dune Part 2?
Dune Part 2 I had at number 4.
Okay, all right. Everybody's coming back. A lot of people are coming back for this one. I don't think they have a release date. It's set to be released from the Wikipedia November 3rd, so we'll see if that comes out. They probably have a lot of post-production to do on that movie. The first one just, obviously the production of it, seemed like it was filming on location. Seemed like very practical, not practical effects, but they did it in a way that was made it seem like CGI was practical. You had cinematographer Greg Fraser. I always think, you see the Villeneuve movies and you're like, oh, that's got to be Deakins. But Greg Fraser stepped in for that one. And I believe he also did Arrival, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
love Arrival.
Yeah, it's incredible movie. Some people coming on to the Dune world. We have Léa Seydoux, we have Christopher Walken, so that should be incredible. See him in that world. Yeah. We have to have Mr.
I
Elvis
tell you
himself.
what, Arrakis, it's got the spice. Look out!
Need more spice. Let's see. We got Austin Butler probably gonna do some of the interesting.
Have you seen that meme where it's just like Danny Villeneuve on the set of Dune 2, and it's just a clip of Rebecca Ferguson from the
Yep.
first one, and they just have her saying do the voice,
Yep.
but then there's just like someone Photoshop don't in front of it.
Yeah, I love that shit. So yeah, it'd be very exciting to see that if it does come out on November 3rd. So that was my number one. What is your number one thing, your most anticipated movie?
I'll just say real fast, like I am also
Yes.
very excited for Dune 2. Dune
Yes.
1 feels like it was good, but it was half of a movie, so I'm really excited to see how this ends. And yeah, it was in my top 4. It just got edged out by some of my favorite directors of all time just happened to be in front of it. But yeah, I'm really excited for Dune 2. But yeah, my number one is one that I don't remember you had this, but you had it on your list. That is my favorite director of all time, with possibly my favorite actor of all time, and that is Killers of the Flower Moon. Very excited for Scorsese, and it's been a minute since they've teamed up. Like, he was his muse, but he hasn't been in the last few. I think the last one he was in was Wolf of Wall Street, almost 10 years ago now, right?
Yes.
That was 10 years ago.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I'm glad that DiCaprio and Scorsese are working together again. This is, obviously based on the true crime novel. I like when Scorsese gets a little bit historical like this. So, yeah, I am down for this one. I think this is a Netflix film, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yep.
Yeah, so obviously he's gonna be able to get the resources and stuff that he needs to do this. This is the prestige list. I think this is an early contender for Best Picture. Obviously we don't know how any of these movies are going to be or what they're going to look like, or even if they're necessarily going to come out this year. But I think like right now, this is going to be a very early contender for Best Picture, and I'm really excited to see this. I've never disliked. Well, that's not true. I haven't disliked the 21st. Like, I love modern Scorsese a lot more than I love old school Scorsese, and I know I'm not the norm there, but I really love his DiCaprio era. To see him continue on with that and to be adapting this really great true crime book is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was our top 10 most anticipated movies of 2023. I have a long list of honorable mentions, so I'll do one, and then we'll trade back and forth, because usually I'll just go through a bunch and like, wait, let me mention one. So I already mentioned Wonka. That was my number 11 in that spot. Air is another movie that's in my 12th spot. It is a movie directed by Ben Affleck, produced by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. It is a biographical comedy drama directed by Ben Affleck. All it says is it stars Matt Damon and Affleck alongside Jason Bateman, Chris Messina, and Chris Tucker, Viola Davis. Not much known about it. The premise, one-line premise on Wikipedia says, Sonny Vaccaro, a shoe salesman at Nike, works to sign Michael Jordan to a deal to wear their shoes. That's coming out April 5th, put out by Amazon Studios, so that should be interesting, yeah?
Yeah, it should be good. I'm excited.
What's an honorable mention for you?
So with the prestige stuff, one that I'm interested in is Elemental. That almost made my list. It's the new Pixar film where, Pixar's like, what if emotions were people? What if, cars were people? And this one's like, what if the elements were people? So, I'm always down to see a Pixar movie. Not much is known about this one. It's the guy who did The Good Dinosaur, which is meh, but he also did Partly Cloudy, the short film. This is Peter Sohn, I believe is how you pronounce his name. So excited to see that.
Nice. So I am excited and interested and very, very curious to see Cocaine Bear on February 24th.
I'm going opening weekend, because if you go opening weekend, you get free gummy bears.
Nice.
At AMC. So I'm gonna be there to see this.
I'm excited to see this, to support a local celebrity, a local girl done good. Elizabeth Banks is directing this. She is one of probably I would say the most famous person from Pittsfield. There's some other people that were like, from North Adams, from Springfield. There's a bunch of people that were from the surrounding area, but she is definitely the most famous person actually from Pittsfield. So that's interesting. Yep. So what is your other? Slap me with another honorable mention.
Evil Dead Rise. I don't know if this one might be more nerdy, but whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's the Evil Dead series is obviously really great. I'm really curious to see where this goes because it's kind of a different take on the Evil Dead series. I would have liked to see a continuation of the 2013 reboot because I did like that a lot. And then obviously we had the Ash vs Evil Dead series even more recently than that. And this is going to go clearly in a new direction. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes.
Yes. Yep. Let's see what else we got. Just do a couple more, then we can do the Letterboxd assignment. Let's see. You mentioned Magic Mike's Last Dance. Have you heard of the new movie that Adam Driver's going to make? He's going to also probably going to have another Italian accent. Michael Mann's Ferrari.
I thought you were going to go with 65. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I literally have that movie at my bottom, the 31st movie I'm excited to see this year. So Ferrari, obviously, is directed by Michael Mann. Stars Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, Shailene Woodley. And it should be released. Let's see the release date on this. TBD, it looks like, on Wikipedia. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, definitely excited to see Driver put on another Italian accent and just chew scenery throughout that movie. Should be incredible.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my other one would be the disappointment of Boulevard or Beau is Afraid. Just based on what you told me, I guess that's making my honorable mention list.
Yep. Lisa mentioned How Do You Live? That's my 16th. Maestro, I mentioned last time. You're like, what is that? Who did that? What is that? It is Bradley Cooper, another directing venture from him. We have Carey Mulligan, Jeremy Strong, and Matt Bomer. That's to be released at some point. It says sometime in 2023 by Netflix. Couple more. Priscilla is an interesting movie. Priscilla is a new movie by Sofia Coppola, and it is based on Priscilla Presley's memoir, Alice and Me. So that should be interesting.
I mean, I also got one more.
Yes.
I got The Exorcist. It's gonna be kind of a soft reboot. David Gordon Green's gonna do it, who obviously did a soft reboot for Halloween, and the first one was pretty solid, and the next two were hot garbage. Yeah. So we'll see what he does with The Exorcist. I've only ever seen Exorcist 1, which is really good. I feel like this is probably going to be the last 30 minutes of The Exorcist are going to be the entire movie, which is fine. Which is what I thought it was before I saw it. So I'm curious about this movie. Could be good. Has a lot of upside, I think. Same thing with Evil Dead Rise,
Yeah, I mean it's from him. It's from David Gordon Green. Not a great track record recently, but you do have, of course, Ellen Burstyn reprising her role as Chris McNeil. She was coming back for that. Should be interesting. Leslie Odom Jr. Yep.
Did we say John Wick last week? Was that a nerdy one?
Good question. I think we did. I believe we did.
Okay, because I was like, we got to mention John Wick. Like, people are going to come for us if we don't mention John Wick 4.
Yes, exactly.
People are going to come for us like we're like Russian mobsters or something, and they are John Wick. They're gonna karate into our house or whatever he does.
Yeah.
The people are saying John Wick 4. Is he back? And I'm thinking he's back.
Yep, he's the Baba. The people are going to come for us like the Baba Yaga.
Donnie Yen's in this fucking one, so like
he is.
And Clancy Brown, I goddamn love Clancy Brown. Like he's been a evil Highlander or whatever. He's been Mr. Krabs, and he's been Desmond's mentor on Lost. So like that's right. This guy's got range, and he's also been like the mentor in Starship Troopers, I think. Oh, and evil prison guard, also.
Yeah.
In, Shawshank. So.
Yep.
Yeah, my dude.
My dude, Clancy, exactly. Yeah. We also have Scott Adkins as Killa. His name is Killa in this movie, apparently. Oh. Yep, so that one is out, I think, fairly recently. Fairly soon, I should say. March 24th, 2023. Yep. Can't wait for that. Excited for this one. Yes, I believe that'll do it. I got a few more, but we got to get out of here because... hitting that 90-minute mark. So I did not watch my Letterboxd assignment from last week. I have to admit to that because it was a 3 hour. Yeah, exactly. It was what was my pick? It was Trial at Nuremberg. I want to say. So couldn't catch that. I don't think that was streaming anywhere. But did you watch your assignment?
So like I was saying last week, I did end up just doing my because I had missed Sexualizing Videotape because it
Yeah,
wasn't streaming anywhere.
yeah.
And I would have had to have bought it. So I missed that one, but I caught up on it this week. I might have found a way to watch it. I'll just say that. And
Yeah.
yeah, this is a fucking great movie. Steven Soderbergh's breakthrough, a movie that is incredibly important in the movement of independent film. Really great performances. It's just a weird fucking movie. Just like with the like these very eclectic, strange actor like James Spader is giving a performance. Peter Gallagher and his eyebrows are great in this. Andy McDowell is great. And it's very weird. It's very Fincher-esque. Like I did it. I knew I was gonna do it. It's very Soderbergh. It feels like a lot of
Yeah.
his just kind of like people talking. And I think one of Soderbergh's things that he's a director's or as an actor's director, which is why he always gets so many great actors in his small budget movies, is because people like to work with him and he gets these great performances out of people that the dialogue always feels so naturalistic. And yeah, this one was definitely that. Also want to say this movie stars. I wrote on my Letterboxd review. This is a movie where there's a character named John Mulaney who seems like a nice, decent family man, but is actually kind of a skeevy dude cheating on his wife. And I was
Oh
like, that's
wow,
weird.
that is very weird.
That's very prescient.
How would you compare this to other directors, like first time out, first directing job, or directors maybe not first time movie, but their first sort of their first low budget sort of people in rooms talking movie?
Honestly, like this he really hit the ground running with this one.
Yeah,
Like this feels like it's one of his best movies, I think, and he
yeah,
makes a lot of really good movies. So, yeah, this movie I can see why it helped start the whole independent film movement of the '90s. This obviously came out in '89, so it kind of was the precursor to a lot of the Miramax and Searchlight films that came to dominate. It obviously went on to inspire a lot of those directors that you're talking about, the people like Robert Rodriguez's and Richard Linklater's that were like, okay, we can make a cheap movie and let's see if that will help us, get picked up at some point. But yeah, this one, is made for like $1.5 million, and it's just great.
very cool. So I'll do, or we can both do, Letterbox Shuffle. I realized something last time when when the Letterbox crew does their shuffle, they also click on my services. You can go down to, you can sort your watch list by a certain thing. If you go to, I just had it up. But
Yeah, okay. I'll click my services.
my
So
services, yeah.
takes
So I'll
me
do.
down from what's my 400 and it cuts it at half exactly. I
Oh
think
wow,
412 to no, not exactly 219. So
yeah.
it knocks out about half of my movies.
I
A lot
have.
of those are unreleased
Jesus
anyway.
Christ,
So
you have 400 movies on your watch list.
yeah, man, I want to watch a lot of shit. There's a lot of good movies out there.
I can't talk. I have 215. And when I go to my services, it cuts it down to 184. So not that great.
People recommend shit to me a lot, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'll put it on the one watch list.
Yeah. So I will hit shuffle. So I definitely know I can watch whatever pops up first. And it is Blue. Blue is a movie from 1993, which is part of this director's trilogy of color type movies, I believe. Stars
Oh, the
Nigel
three
Terry.
colors, red, blue. Okay, well, you have to watch all three then, I feel like.
One second.
Right?
I don't know if this is. Okay, no, I'm sorry. This was not that. This is just a movie called Blue, directed by Derek Jarman, who did the Three Colors trilogy. And it was famous,
Some
like
French
Polish.
guy.
Yeah, Polish.
It's French because it's of like the French flag.
Oh, is that what that?
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
red,
mind
white, and blue for
blown.
the. Yeah.
Mind blown, my friend. Mind blown.
Learn something new
So,
every day.
Three Colors was directed by Krzysztof Kieslowski. That's a Polish name. That's why I thought it was Polish.
Okay, but it's definitely the French flag. Like, so
Yeah,
maybe he's like
yeah.
an expat or something. I don't know.
True. So, anyways, my assignment was Blue, directed by Derek Jarman, starring Tilda Swinton, apparently. Very early Tilda Swinton. So, I'll be watching that next time because it is streaming everywhere. Criterion, Canopy, and Plex. Not my Plex, the Plex. Plex has, if you get Plex, they have, like a Prime Video service. Yeah. Okay, so why don't you go to your watch list and hit shuffle. Let us know what you're going to watch.
Hit and shuffle, and
Bloop. Bloop.
Sticking with Steven Soderbergh, probably his next biggest movie that I haven't seen, and that is Erin Brockovich.
Me too. I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. It was funny because I was like looking at his movies, and I was like, all right, well, I've watched Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which is actually a little bit lower than this, but I'm like, all right, which one of his top movies and his like top 8 have I not seen? I was like, oh, Erin Brockovich. And then I was like, all right, well, you know what? Yeah, let's go for it. Like, I'm not a huge Julie Roberts fan, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel about this one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Some of his other smaller ones, like his experimental ones that he was doing for a while.
Yeah, he makes like 4 movies a year. He does. So, like, it's tough to keep up with this guy.
He does. I still have to see, obviously, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. I got to see his remake of Solaris from 2002.
That's a weird-ass movie. That is a weird-ass movie.
Yeah. I like Tarkovsky, but I haven't seen Solaris yet. Haven't seen High Flying Bird, obviously. Have not seen Traffic.
Yeah, okay, High Flying Bird is real fucking boring. It's like, hey, what if we made a basketball movie with no basketball?
Yeah.
It's like Hustle, but boring.
What's your thoughts on Side Effects? Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen Side Effects. Okay. I need to see Side Effects.
Then there's a movie called Unsane, which is, I think he was shot on an iPhone in 2018.
Yeah, that's his iPhone movie, yeah.
That's his iPhone movie. Gotcha. All right. So, yeah, you check that out. I probably should as well, because obviously I have to get all those Oscar movies in me at some point. So that'll do it, I believe. Anything else you want to throw in there right now?
No, I think that's it.
That's about it. All right, we did another one.
I mean, I guess I'll say maybe I should rewatch Contagion, because that was a movie that I was a really big fan of, and you couldn't even it wasn't even on DVD like in 2019, and then everyone was like, "We've got to rewatch this movie," and I was like, I tried to at like the high pandemic, and I was like, that's not happening. No. And I almost covered it on Underrated, but we're like, let's give it some time, and so maybe I think it's been enough time that I can watch it and be like, how did this work? Was this, because I think it's like fairly scientifically accurate. So I want to see, just with new eyes, how that movie held up.
Right. It's streaming currently on HBO Max for anybody wondering. So yeah. So that'll do it for this episode. We'll do some plug-in right now. Doing plugs. Medium blog. I will start getting back into this. What basically happened was year end happened, saw the movies, bam, hit that finish line. I was like, I don't like movies anymore. And I don't like writing about movies, so I just stopped for a while. I stopped for a month, which I went back in the longest drought I've had so far. But I will get back. I will get back into it with many great movies coming out pretty soon. So go there, damian.sherman.medium.com for all that. Go to my Letterboxd page. I just had some extra reviews going up there, mini reviews on there. So go to B_4_Benedetta there, B for Benedetta on my Letterboxd. Go to Film Essayist on YouTube. Go to Anchor.com to make a website really, really easily and check out all the interviews. I'm going to try. You recommended one guy for me to interview, and I'll be going back and forth with him right now to do that. Got a woman that does a podcast out in near Cape Cod, does a very cool haunting podcast about ghosts, and she made this whole very cool. It's it's not like a radio play, but it's sort of like, I'm this person and I investigate ghosts and I try to help people with my podcast. So come along with me as we do that, as that sort of thing. And she'll have somebody new every week come on with a new ghost. And then it's like a Monster of the Week, but it's like X-Files. It's like Monster of the Week with an overarching story going on. So that one's called Ghost in the Burbs, I want to say. Very good, very good show. So I'm trying to work with her to get her on here. So Derick, what's your plug-in?
A plugin is my other podcast, Underrated, which I do every 2 weeks. So whenever this show comes out, Underrated also comes out. That's what I was just recording before this. Check that out. This week we discussed A Home at the End of the World. We had on Billy Ray Bruton of the Incinerator podcast and Screen Drafts fame. Came on to talk with us about that early 2000s Colin Farrell, Robin Wright film that was really interesting and impactful and surprisingly poignant for me. So I had a lot of fun with that. We do a few other podcasts just to look up Undercast Company and see what we do. And then also, I recently started on TikTok for the hello fellow kids out there. We're starting a new like short review series, just kind of give my quick thoughts on recently released stuff. So I just did the first episode on Plane. So just look up Undercast Company on TikTok, and you can check out that new review show that I've been doing. So follow me there.
Very cool. So for episode 156 of the Can I Say Something podcast, I have been Damian.
I've been Derick.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.